like 2 years. I mean, like, give me Brad his whole career. Give me Vinny his whole career. Like, put me in that position. Like, I'm so jealous that when I look at people that have had their quarterbacks for long, extended periods of time, it's just like, man, I couldn't land. Maybe it was me then. Maybe it was just me that I was just so god-awful that the good Lord said, no, we're not going to bless you with any quarterbacks.
Well, we would say that for those of you too young enough to remember Vinny Testaverde, certainly worth looking up, and Brad Johnson was, of course, Key's Super Bowl winning quarterback in Tampa Bay. Ben Roethlisberger himself has won 2 Super Bowls. He said this offseason to much laughter, even though he's been in the league for nearly 17 years, and you see Rivers at the end, you see Eli retired, the guys he came in with. He said, I got multiple Super Bowls left.
Absolutely.
Multiple left
But
in
you
me.
can look at being prior to his injury, and you could tell he was still cool. Like, when you look at Eli and you look at Phillip Rivers has a little bit of a rebirth in Indy because it's, Indy, whatever. It looks different.
Looked okay
yesterday. They're winning. But when you look at them, it's like, nah, that ain't going to work. When you look at Big Ben, it's like, oh, man, he got another 6 or 7 years of doing this.
6 or 7. That would take him into Brady territory age-wise.
I'm telling you, you could look at him and tell. But as long as he's healthy, he's good.
But Kia, at what level though? Because Big Ben hasn't.
But this is the same level that he's always been at. This is the same.
And it looks a little bit marginal. It doesn't.
No, man, he looked the same.
Their defense is winning games.
If you go back to Big Ben when he first came into this league, don't look at the numbers. Just look at his style of play. All of it looks the same as it did yesterday. He makes plays and he gets out of the way, and it just looks. It looks clunky, never smooth, but it's effective.
Speaking of clunky and never smooth, you could make that argument when the Ravens go down double digits in the Lamar Jackson era. Incredible stat. They have never rallied from 10 down to be able to win. They came into yesterday's game with the 31st passing attack in the NFL, 20th in passing efficiency, and when Lamar needed to make one throw at the end of the game, granted it was batted down in the end zone, it ended the way it normally has for Lamar in big spots, just not being able to come up that huge. On the other side, Mike Tomlin, Steelers head coach, kind of summing up what his squad thinks about that other QB.
We have respect for him, but we don't fear him. And so, we're not surprised by anything that transpires.
How about that, Jay?
If I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm sitting there, I'm taking that one. I'm saying, okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Like, there was no need to even say that. I recognize that's Mike Tomlin's truth, but it's like you give another player ammunition, Key.
Hey,
why are you looking at me sideways?
I know I'm looking at the monitor.
Oh, okay.
We're not, as Mike Thomas said, man, we're not worried about that dude. We're not worried about him.
But it was really funny to me. It's not like
we're not worried about
watching
him.
That whole
eventually,
game.
He's going to give us something to go the other way with.
Watching that whole game in its entirety, I knew that Lamar Jackson threw a pick six to start the game. I knew he threw another interception that led to a drive at the beginning of the second half. But with as bad as Lamar Jackson played, the Ravens still could have won the game.
Could have, would have, should have.
I understand you, but I didn't.
You're thinking though, Jay. When you're on that sideline and they're up, eventually he's going to do something. Just stay patient. That is going to help us out. That's the way the coaches are telling. That's the way Coach Tomlin has already sent that message to his team. Is don't panic, just sit tight. If we get an opportunity to go up on them, he ain't coming back.
Is the margin that great between the Steelers and the Ravens? Because I feel as bad as the Ravens played, they should have still won the game. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't walk away from saying that game last night saying Pittsburgh is that much better than the Ravens. Wow. Like, to have that vote of confidence for Mike Tomlin to say something like that, that takes some some things that are hanging low.
But Jay, I'm looking at 8. I'm looking at number 8.
Okay.
That number 8 is not number 12, a number 12 in Chicago. A number 12 in Green Bay, or number 12 in Tampa. That's number 8. He can't beat us if we get up late in games pushing the ball down the field. We already know that. So our confidence is bubbling. All we got to do is stop him and get the ball, go down and score. It's a wrap. That is the way that Mike Tomlin has talked to his team pregame and let them know through passing. Maybe he didn't even address the entire team. Maybe he only told 1 or 2 people. Like, if we stop that dude, man, we ain't worried about him. We ain't worried about Hollywood Brown. We're not worried about Snead. They're going to catch a few passes. but our team is better than them because of that quarterback.
I mean, you don't have to worry about Hollywood Brown anyway. He only got 2 targets for 1 reception. I mean, he tweeted after the game. That's a problem. I'm just saying, if you're the Ravens, you walk away, and that could be a bigger sign of things to come for this team, some internal issues. But, I mean, yes, a lot does fall on the shoulders of Lamar Jackson, but I'm not walking away from that game being like, oh, man, the Steelers beat us on this one. I'm like, we beat ourselves.
You can't look at it that way.
Well, if you're the Ravens,
can't look at it that way, man.
So if you're the Ravens, how should you look at it?
Number 8.
So
we don't have a guy in the saddle that can push the ball down the field when we need him to, when we fall behind, to put us ahead late in games. We don't have that guy.
And that's concrete. That's who exactly Lamar Jackson is.
As of today.
Okay.
He was not that guy leading up to yesterday, and that's why Mike Tomlin could say what he said. Now, Lamar's a leading him. He's dynamic. When he put the take off, he run. All that's cute. It looks good. But one of the things that they say is, make him throw the football. Make him throw it. We dare you to. We dare you to. And that starts to seep in the heads and in the minds of the offensive coordinator as well as Lamar Jackson at times. I mean, ill-advised pick 6. Another ball where he's holding it, the guy beats him, bats it out of his hand.
2 things we should mention. The rematch, if you're wondering, as you kind of said, taking that comment about respecting but not fearing, Jay, they will meet again with the country watching in prime time on Thanksgiving night. So they want to circle that one. Mm-hmm. They want to circle that one.
In Pittsburgh?
This one's going to be in Pittsburgh at 8:20 Eastern on Thanksgiving night. Houston, Detroit, Washington, Dallas, the other games. Yuck. Dr. Pepper, call-in line. Which quarterback do you fear facing the most? I'm guessing if the fellas called in, Lamar Jackson would not be the first thing they say at 888 say ESPN. Tell us, who do you fear the most? 888 say ESPN. Key J.
I'm bored with Hollywood Brown over here.
Still to come. The trade deadline is tomorrow at 4 Eastern. And for the first time in almost 20 years, could the Pats actually be selling? We'll talk to our GM, who was trading, selling, and acquiring for years after Key has this.